Welcome back to Right Side Trading, where you can learn how to trade on the right side with confidence. Today is day 4 of our 5-day mini-series video, and today I want to talk about something called the formula. So what exactly is the formula to success when it involves trading? This is a question that I get from so many people. What is the formula? What is the magic pill? What is the magic potion? What is the holy grail? Well, to a certain extent, there isn't no holy grail, but I'm going to show you something that is very close to that. And that is, if you remember Einstein coming out with the E equals mc squared and how revolutionary that was, the fact of the matter is, we're not Einsteins, but there's something really close to that, and we call that the RS equals Pick's square. And what do we mean by RS equals Pick's square? Well, the RS in here stands for the right stock, or in some cases, the right side. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're on the right stock, and we also want to make sure that we're on the right side of any trade that we are in. Okay. In addition to that, the pick in the PIC square, the P in there stands for patterns, the I stands for indicators, and the C stands for candlesticks. Okay. So the thing is learning how to apply all three of them together. The mistake that I've seen so many people make is the fact that they pick one over the others, or they pick only one in the analysis. Okay, but you got to pick all three and learn how to use them together. Now, the squared in that is just basically telling you, hey, make sure that you pick PIC, the right side going in, and make sure you pick the right side when you're getting out. So it's both sides. You want to use this formula for getting in as well as getting out of a trade. Okay, so today what I want to do is I want to take you to the charts, and in particular what I'm going to do is show you a video that was recorded back on November 7, 2016. It was the day before the presidential election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And so many people were confused, didn't know what was going to happen. Some people said if Hillary won, the market was going to go up, and if Donald Trump won, the market was going to go down. Okay, that was the big thing that everybody was talking about at the time. Well, Donald Trump won, and the market rallied like crazy. I mean, to all-time highs and everything. And now it is known as the Trump rally. Some stocks in particular were even called the Trump stocks. Okay. But this video in particular that you're going to be watching was the day before everybody started calling it the Trump rally. This was before anybody even knew what was going to happen. And I will show you how the charts showed us what was about to take place. Okay? And that's kind of like what I want to show you. The cool thing about this is we didn't use any fundamental analysis, stayed away from all the news, with the exception that the election was coming up. That was the only news that we knew about. But we saw things in charts by applying this formula, using patterns, indicators, as well as candlesticks to tell us that the market was about to rally. So when the Trump rally came in, everybody was shocked. It's, oh my gosh, we have a Trump rally. We were not shocked by that because we were all prepared for that. Okay, so I'm going to take you to the video. Watch this video. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to pre-election day, or should I say election day eve. And I hope everybody's prepared and getting ready to enjoy this market for all that it can give us. All right, before we get started, let me just go through my disclaimer page real quick. Can you guys see, good evening guys, good evening Brock. You can see my disclaimer page, just to make sure that we're on the same screen. Okay, good. All right, so nothing in the presentation given here or the information or comments exchanged by members. Subscribers constitute a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any security. Past performance is no guarantee for future performance or success. Investment involves risk, including possible loss of principal. You agree that by attending this presentation, any decisions you make are at your own discretion. The presenters, speakers, or organizers are not responsible for any losses, lack of profits, or any other consequences resulting from decisions made based on attending this presentation. Okay, and so now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and bring the chart in for the week. Okay, and here we go. All right, so one more time, if you can see my screen, I have the chart of the SPX. Just go ahead and type in a Y so I know that you guys can see that. Very good, very good, very good. Okay, perfect. So I know you guys can see that. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, thanks guys. Okay, so what is the market trying to do? I mean, that's the question in everybody's mind. What is the market trying to do? All right, so let's go ahead and start doing some analysis on that. Again, I'm not the type of person that would tell you stories about, what caused the market to do this and what caused the market to do that, and, who's affecting the market and who's not. Okay, I'm just a chartist. I like looking at charts. I let the chart tells me what needs to be done and what the market is trying to do. I look at the charts as the experts. Okay, a lot of people like to look on TV and find out what the experts are saying, but to me, the experts are the charts. Okay, the different candlestick signals, the different indicators, the different patterns. That to me are the experts. Okay, and so I'd rather listen to those bunch of experts than the experts on TV. So what I mean by that, I did a video on YouTube. Again, just kind of like just express the fact that we can see what is about to happen in the market before it actually happens. Okay, in that video I was talking about how, let me do this, how the market at the time, this was on Saturday, or Saturday is when I did the video. Friday, this is what we're looking at as far as the market was concerned. Okay, and I was telling people, or at least I've been watching this and saying, look, it doesn't matter what happens. The fact is the market is kind of reaching a bottom right now. And the question always I find is, well, how do you know that that is the bottom? How do you know that is the bottom? Now, I've mentioned this before and I'll mention it again. Okay, and one of the things that you can do is you have to understand patterns, and you also have to understand indicators. The first thing is, if we connected these two lines right here, okay, right there, and we extended this out to the left, oh, wrong direction, my military left, which is the right, we can see that the market had came down to this same trend line where it had bounced previously. Okay, can everybody see that? Where the market came down and bounced off of this line right here. Okay, so that was the first thing. So once the market got to this level, the question then became, yeah, military left, you're right. The next thing that we had to figure out is like, okay, well, is this market going to bounce off of this level or not? I was speaking to somebody, and they were trying to find out when this market was dropping. They said, well, this market is dropping. I'm not sure. I believe that I think that it's trying to get down to this, to fill this gap right here. Okay, this gap on the left-hand side is what it's trying to fill. And I was telling them, I said, well, that's kind of hard to tell, because if I was to put a line right there, which is where they wanted to see, or they anticipated or thought that the market was going to go to, which is this gap down here, I said, obviously there's a lot of things that we miss in that we don't see. One of that is, of course, this downtrend line that you have to see. Okay. Another thing is, if you look over here, this is a potential, support area right here. Okay, that's a potential support area. So before we start even wondering whether the market is going to come down to this level right here, we have to at least look at these two first and see what the market is trying to do. Now, if you zoom out into even a bigger time frame, okay, if we go out to a bigger time frame, we can take this right here. Oops, wrong one. Let's see right here. We can take this line right here and do something like this, okay, where now we're looking at this right here, and then now the market coming down to this area right here. So we have a confluence of reversal support areas, okay, and that's one of the big things that you have to be able to do when you're looking at a chart, is saying, where are all the possible reversal locations on that chart? Okay, where are all the possible reversal locations on that chart? And being able to identify it, and then the question becomes, which one has the most confluence of support, which one has the most confluence of resistance, and then the next thing is, are there any indicators that are also confirming that, as well as candlestick signals? Okay, so it's a three-part: understanding the patterns, understanding indicators, and understanding candlesticks. And this is why you might hear people say all the time, well, you have to have different things. It's not just one thing that would help you make that decision. I agree with that. But the question is, what are we using to help us make that decision? So before I can even be thinking about this level right here, this gap being filled, we still have to contend with the issues that we're dealing with right here. Okay? So when I look at the pattern, I see a downtrending channel that bounces off of this line. I see a longer time period, trend line that also coming to the same place. I see these are all areas where it could reverse. Then we say, okay, how do we know if this area is where it's going to bounce or if it's going to come down to this area and bounce at that area? And the answer to that is we wait for candlestick signals. Okay, we wait for candlestick signals. We see a reversal candlestick signal, and that kind of gives us an idea of where it's going to bounce from. All right, and so on Friday, the reason why I saw this market ready to go higher on Friday, and I was telling people on Saturdays they get ready to start going long, is the fact that we had an inverted hammer signal. Okay, we had an inverted hammer signal. All right. So not only did we have a bunch of confluence of support, we had a reversal candlestick signal that was telling us that the market is ready to go higher. All right. And if we add an indicator, and I'm just going to add one simple indicator, and you guys probably all know what indicator that is that I'm going to be using, and that is the slow stochastic. Okay. If we look at the slow stochastic on the daily chart, we can see that it's already at the bottom, okay, which is another thing that tells us when the market is at the bottom, okay. If this slow stochastic was way up here, I'll be concerned that the market could drop even further. But the fact that it was already at this bottom was telling me that, hey, and then we got a confluence of support. We have candlestick reversals. All these were all signs that was telling me, like, hey, this market could actually reverse. The only thing I'm shocked about, to be honest with you guys, is not that the fact that the market went up, but how much it went up in one day. Okay, could be a good thing and a bad thing. Okay, but I wasn't shocked that the market went up today. More so now, just like how big of a rally it did in one day. I usually don't like that big of a rally in one day because there's always the potential that it'll give a good portion of that profit back the next day because it rallied too fast too soon. I like slow and steady. I don't like fast and volatile. All right, so we see that. Then the next thing I want to do is if we go to the weekly chart, and I think I have mentioned this in the past, where one of the biggest things I was looking for was for the stochastic on the weekly chart to come down to the bottom. And I said anytime it comes down to that bottom, I get really excited because the last time it was down at this bottom, we got this rally right here. The last time it was at this bottom right here, we got this huge rally right here. So I said, please come down to this bottom again so I can have another good rally. So I'm seeing this on Friday. This is what it looked like exactly on Friday. Okay, I'm seeing it on the daily chart the same way too. I'm seeing that we're in a confluence of support. I'm seeing that we have candlestick reversal signal. And again, all that is just telling me that this stock or the market is ready to go higher. Okay, and so we are on the first day of the week, and it seems like it's already started the process of reversing back up again. Okay, so that's the good thing about it. But I have to be honest, with the election coming up tomorrow, I mean, it's like a wild card that it can throw into this whole thing, and we have to be aware of that. We just have to be aware that it's a wild card that can be thrown into this. So depending on who becomes president, that could change the direction and all the analysis that we did. But if this had nothing, if the election was not taking place right now, there's no question in my mind that this stock or this market is ready to go higher. None whatsoever. Okay? None whatsoever that this market is ready to go higher. But right now, we have to wait for this wild card tomorrow, which is called the election, to see whether or not it's going to boost it going higher or it's going to reverse. Any question at all on what I just talked about? Any questions at all? I know I had one person ask me, so well, what about, that's just the SPX. What about the Russell and the NASDAQ and the Dow? The answer to that is it did the exact same thing on all of them. Okay, if we go to let's go to the Russell. Okay, we can see the exact same thing is happening right here with the Russell. All right, The exact same thing is happening right there, and it's looking like it's ready to make its move back up to the, going higher. We go to the daily chart, the same exact thing. All right. If we go to the NASDAQ, same thing. No, nothing is different. All right. And it's interesting enough. Let me go back to the Russell so you guys can see this. Okay. On the Russell, inverted hammer signal. Okay. If we go to the NASDAQ, let me zoom in on this one. We have another inverted hammer signal right there. You guys can see that. That's another inverted hammer signal right there. Okay. If we go to the Dow, okay, the exact same thing happening again. Inverted hammer signal. Even though this is red, this is still an inverted hammer signal right there. Okay. So it's doing the same thing on every single one of them. Interested enough, all of them are at the bottom. We can go to the weekly chart. We can see that they are all hitting that bottom all at the same time. Is that a coincidence? I don't. We are at a stage where the market is trying to rally. Now the NASDAQ was the only one that hasn't reached that point yet. So we'll see what happens. It might be the laggard out of all of them. But just watch. I mean, this market looks like it's trying to reverse itself. Okay. We have this on the Russell, and of course we've shown you guys what the SPX looks like. And all these are just positive signs that this market could go higher. Okay. Positive signs that this market could go higher. Now, all that being said, let's say tomorrow comes out, people don't, the market doesn't like who the next president is, and it starts dropping. This is where you want to put your stop, right here. Okay. Now, chances are that you won't be able to prevent that because most of that move probably would already take place overnight once the announcement comes out. So we just have to be watching for that, okay? But I would say that, a market that goes below this level again, and especially if by the end of Wednesday it stays below this level, this is going to spell some really, really big trouble, okay? So one of the things, before I go forward, actually, let me ask, anybody has any questions before I move on to the next thing I want to talk about today? Anybody? Bueller? 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 Okay. All right. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is, let's see here. I want to show you guys, because a lot of people have been asking, well, how does the market react to election? Okay. So I think the best way to do that is by just going back and studying it. Let me remove this. Anybody has any questions on how the market? Would you guys want me to show you guys what the market does during an election when they elect a new president, so you know how to prepare yourself for that? All right, welcome back. I hope you guys really learned something from that video, and more importantly, I hope that you guys are able to see how just using that formula, patterns, indicators, candlesticks at the right time, at the right place, knowing how to put that all together is what gave us the insight to see what was going on with the market. So whenever you trade in, this is the one thing I want you guys to always remember. Remember, you learned this from Right Side Trading, that you always want to pick the right stock, okay? You always want to be on the right side of the trade. In order to do so, just follow the formula PIC squared equals the right side of your trade. PIC squared equals being in the right stock. Okay, so to end this out, I want to just let you guys know, to learn more about how to profit from presidential elections, if you remember in the video, we talked about how I was going to show the people on that call how to profit from presidential elections using some particular indicators and patterns that we have discovered when it comes to elections. I highly encourage you to take a look at that, okay? The people that did that made a lot of money during the presidential election. So go to www.rightsidetrading.com/presidential-elections and you'll be able to watch the video there. And finally, if you're the kind of person who's just watching this for the very first time, you want to kind of see all the other free videos that we had out there, I highly encourage you guys to go to www.rightsidetrading.com/free videos. Okay. So tomorrow I'll be showing you some really cool strategies on how to apply even more of this pick strategy or pick formula to being in the right stocks and staying on the right side of those stocks. So make sure you tune in tomorrow to watch day 5 of our 5-day mini series. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.